back to STEM school. In this lesson, we are going to talk about data because I'm going to do multiple courses about data. So this is our first lesson. In this lesson, we are going to talk about data at the simplest level. It is information that we collect about the world. In order to make this information useful, humans need to be able to classify, sort, organize, represent, and interpret it. Our brain collects information constantly. Look at this paragraph. And although the brain collecting information constantly, make use of data to answer specific questions or solve problems requires bringing this collection and organization of information to a conscious level and examine it deliberately. We sometimes call this data analysis. We are going to talk more about data analysis in our future lessons in a more systematic way. But today, we are only going to explain this in the most simplest way. So in order to make use of data, there are a few things we need to do. First, identify variation. You can look at here, there's size, weight, color, usefulness, attractiveness. So these are the examples of how we can identify variations. And the next thing is classify information. So the examples could be color, function. You can see taste, forms. The examples here of the forms could be bicycle, cars, tracks, and all type of transportation. And there could be shapes, triangles, squares, cycles. So we use this different category to classify our information. And last, sort the information. Okay, the information could be sorted into piles, rainy days, differentiated from sunny or cloudy skies, or domestic, wide. So there are a lot of examples of how we can sort different information. Okay, and the next thing we need to do is to figure out the data can answer questions or solve problems. So in order to do that, we need to first understand the question or problem in its context. So we cannot do anything without understanding the actual problems. So first, for example, what is measure? So the example is answer to some questions can be wrong because the analyst doesn't consider the entire example, right? So here's the written example of this scenario. How many of children enrolled in the classroom in room 1 go to the park on weekend? So if children are absent when the question is asked, then the children collect data on only those who are present. Their answer may be inaccurate. Okay, so, and there are a few other examples. Mainly we need to know here is children frequently think about here and now. So in order to have the correct measure, we may need to help thinking beyond the present moment in order to think about what should be included in the complete example. So in other words, are they collecting all the data that is necessary to answer the question? Okay, so that's the example we need to measure. The second one, what is measured should be the variation and options. Okay, so there is the other explained scenario about children goes to park. So to summarize it, they may only think about what themselves do and fail to realize that other children may act differently. Okay, thinking aloud about all of the possible options before gathering the information can be useful. So this is the most important sentence here. And we might need to create additional categories for this example, which here are the listed questions or categories. Who goes to the park every weekend? Who goes to the park sometimes? Who goes to the park? And so on. The next one is frequency of data collection. So if the question is how many children used outside water table, so counting the children only one day wouldn't prove a very good answer. So think about how accurate we can be given the real life constraints is useful. So not just a specific day, we need to think about more of the data collection and the timing. So in the example of use of water tables on a day, so it could be very different from a warm day or a winter day. So the timing is important in this case. So once data is collected, it must be put in a format, or in other words, how we can present this data. Okay, so for example, we are asking the children in the classroom, raise your hands if you like to wear sandals. Alright, so we collect the answers, and then we can write the resulting number on the board, or we can create a bar chart instead of it. So there are so many different formats that we can use to present data. And the last one is interpretation. So interpretation is directly tied to understand the question or problems. Okay, so interpreting the findings with the context of the question is essential. So previously, we talk about data collection. We talk about data collection. We talk about how to categorize them, and then we talk about how to understand the problem. Okay, with the sample, with the measures of variation of options, and then after we present the data in different formats, the ultimate goal we try to achieve is interpret or explain the data we presented based on the problem we understood and the data we gathered, so that we can interpret our solution to this specific problem using that data we collect and analyzed. So that's the ultimate goal of data analysis, in a very simple way to explain that. That is everything for today's lesson. Please subscribe our channel. Thank you.